You ever worked the graveyard shift at a 24-hour gas station off an empty Midwest highway and felt the night watching you back? That was me and Jake, summer of 2023, in a nowhere town outside Tulsa, where the only thing open past midnight was sin and bad decisions. The first time the black Charger rolled through, it was 12:27 a.m. slow, too slow, like the driver was reading every sticker on our windows. Tinted windows so dark I couldn't even catch a silhouette. It circled the pumps once and vanished down the county road. Jake laughed it off, probably some kids looking for beer money. I didn't laugh. Something about it sat wrong in my gut. It came back at 12:59. Same crawl, same blackout windows. Then again at 1:43. By the third lap I was timing it on the security monitor, heart hammering every time those headlights cut across the lot. Jake finally noticed me frozen at the counter. "Dude, chill, it's just a car." But it wasn't just a car. 2:08 a.m. the front doors exploded open so hard the bell ripped off its chain. Two guys in ski masks and black hoodies stormed in. One had a sawed-off shotgun, the other a crowbar that glinted under the fluorescence like it was smiling. "Open the safe, or we paint this place with you," shotgun barked. My hands shook so bad I dropped the keys twice. Jake came out from the back wiping grease off his fingers, saw what was happening, and went ghost white. "Hey, easy, man. Take whatever you want. Just don't hurt him." That was Jake, always trying to protect me even though I was older by 2 years. They zip-tied our wrists, marched us to the office, and started kicking the filing cabinets looking for the drop safe we didn't have. There's no more money. We gave them earned another boot to the ribs. I tasted blood. Jake took most of the hits shielding me. When they realized we really were broke, just $412 in the drawer from a dead night, the guy with the crowbar lost it. He grabbed Jake by the throat and slammed him against the walk-in beer cooler, the big steel one in the back. "Last chance, heroes." Jake looked at me. I'll never forget his eyes, calm, like he'd already made peace with what came next. Then he did the bravest thing I've ever seen. He spun, shoved me inside the cooler, and yanked the door shut behind me. The hydraulic arm locked with a sound I still hear in my sleep. "Jake, no!" I screamed, pounding on the inch-thick steel. Through the tiny diamond window I watched everything. They beat him with the crowbar first, once across the back, once to the knees. He dropped but kept crawling, dragging himself back to the door, pressing his body against it so they couldn't pull it open. Blood poured from his scalp, soaking his quick march shirt. "Stay in there, Cole," he yelled, voice cracking. "Don't you dare open this door." The guy with the shotgun kicked him in the face. I heard Jake's nose break, still wouldn't move. Then the other one, the crowbar guy, raised it high and brought it down on the back of Jake's skull. The sound, God, the sound, like splitting a watermelon. Jake went limp, but somehow his arms stayed wrapped around that handle, dead weight holding it closed. They pried him off. I begged through the window, sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. They threw Jake on his back right in front of me. His eyes were already glazing, but they found mine through the glass. The shotgun guy took a hunting knife from his belt, long, serrated, evil, and drove it into Jake's stomach. Once, twice, a third time for fun. Each thrust jerked Jake's body like he was trying to get away even after he couldn't. Blood pooled so fast it reached the cooler door. Jake's hand slid across the floor, fingers smearing red, until his palm pressed flat against the glass opposite mine. 6 inches of steel and a lifetime apart. His lips moved. No sound came through, but I read it clear as day. "You're safe." His hand slipped down, leaving a long crimson streak. His chest stopped moving. The light in his eyes just turned off. The robbers panicked when they realized he was gone, grabbed the cash, and ran. I don't know how long I stayed in that cooler screaming his name. Long enough for the blood under the door to stop spreading. Cops found them 6 hours later, passed out in a Motel 6, with Jake's blood still on their shoes. and $412 in 20s rubber banded together. That was what my best friend's life cost, $412. It's been 2 years. I can't walk past a beer cooler without gagging. Some nights I wake up freezing, feeling that steel door against my forehead, hearing Jake's last breath fogging the glass. And every time I close my eyes, I still see his hand sliding down, leaving that red streak I can never wipe away. They sentence those animals to life, but sometimes, late at night when the station's quiet and the cooler hums just right, I swear I hear the handle rattle from the inside, and a faint voice, hoarse and wet, whispering through the seal, "Cole, you still safe in there, brother?" You ever worked the night shift at a 24-hour taco jack off an old Georgia back road where the pine trees swallow every sound? That was me, summer 2024, in a nowhere town 20 miles south of Macon. Storm hit like God flipped a bucket. Rained so hard the neon sign was just a pink blur. 11:47 p.m. drive-through headset crackled alive. "Welcome to Taco Jack. What can I get started for you?" Static. Then a man's voice, low and gurgling like he was talking underwater. "Number 4, no onion, large sweet tea." "All right, pull around to the window." I glanced at the camera. Nothing, just the empty lane, rain hammering the speaker box. No headlights, no car, no silhouette. "Sir, you still there?" 30 seconds of dead air. Then the same voice, slower, wetter. "Number 4, no onion." I called my manager, Kaylee. She squinted at the monitor, shrugged, said it's probably the storm messing with the wiring. Told me to go check. I grabbed the big golf umbrella and stepped outside. Rain slapped me sideways. The drive-through lane was empty except for fresh tire tracks cutting straight past the menu board, past the pickup window, straight through the puddles, and into the woods behind the store like the car never even planned on stopping. I followed them, couldn't help it. The tracks ended 50 yards in where a silver Ford Taurus had wrapped itself around a loblolly pine, front end accordioned, steam hissing from the hood. Driver still belted in, head lolling against the shattered window, suit and tie guy maybe 45. Left side of his skull caved in like a dropped pumpkin, blood everywhere, mixing with rain, running pink down the door. I gagged, fumbled for my phone to call 911. That's when the headlights snapped on, high beams straight in my face, blinding white, and a voice right behind my ear, cold breath on my neck. "You forgot my sweet tea." I spun around, nothing but trees and rain. When I looked back, the dead guy was sitting bolt upright, eyes wide open, staring straight through the cracked windshield. Blood still dripping from the hole in his head, mouth moving like he was trying to talk again. I ran, slipped in the mud, lost a shoe, didn't stop till I slammed the back door and dead-bolted it, told Kaylee everything. Cops showed up 20 minutes later. I led them back through the woods with flashlights shaking in my hands. Car was exactly where I left it, headlights off. Driver slumped again, eyes closed, just like the first time I saw him. Paramedic checked his pulse, shook his head. "Been gone at least 5 hours, kid. Rigger's already setting in." 5 hours. That crash happened before we even opened for the night, but I took his order, I whispered. He talked to me twice. Deputy just gave me that look. Said it was probably the car's computer glitching in the rain, voice activation looping an old order. Happens sometimes. They zipped him into a black bag. Last thing I saw was his ruined face disappearing behind plastic. Coroner later said his name was Daniel Carter, traveling salesman from Alabama. Hydroplaned off the road around 7:15 p.m. Nobody heard the crash over the thunder. He'd been sitting out there bleeding while the storm raged, and we served maybe 6 customers all night. I quit the next morning, told them I got accepted to Georgia Southern, needed to focus on school, whatever lie got me out fastest. It's been 16 months. I still can't drink sweet tea. Some nights when the rain's pounding the windows just right, The old headset static crackles in my dreams, and that drowned voice orders again. Number 4, no onion, large sweet tea. And sometimes, real quiet right before I wake up screaming, I swear I hear the bell ding, like a car just pulled up to the speaker that isn't there anymore. Rehook, they tore that Taco Jack down last month to build a Dollar General. But every time a storm rolls through, truckers on CB radio swear they still hear a voice on the old drive-through frequency, asking for a number 4, no onion, and complaining the tea's not sweet enough. You ever worked closing shift at a 24-hour Sunmart off Iminis 35 just outside Wichita Falls, Texas? That was me, winter 2024. Friday night, rain hammering the roof so hard it sounded like bullets. Me and my coworker Jess were the only 2 souls dumb enough to be there at 11:42 p.m., wiping tables and praying the clock would move faster. That's when he walked in, soaked to the bone, black hoodie dripping on the mat, but what froze my blood was the thing in his hands, a handmade rag doll, maybe 14 You ever worked closing shift wearing a tiny 24-hour Sunmart off the exact 35 hours just outside? Your hair the same dirty blonde as mine. That was back in the same messy ponytail I always wore. Friday night, he just hammered under the buzz so hard it sounded like bullets locked on me and my coworker Jess were the only 2 customers dumb enough to be there at 11:42 p.m. What can I get you? Wiping the table order, and he smiled like he'd been waiting his whole life for this. That's when he walked whispered, so you're even prettier up, black clothes dripping on the mat. My name froze my blood was the thing in his hand. But the way he said it, like he practiced it in the dark, 4,000 inches tall, Jess looked up from mopping polo shirt, you buying something or just creeping? Yon hair the same dirty blonde, took one squelching step back in the same and held the doll up so I could see its face. Button eyes there under the buzzing lights, mine, pale eyes, tiny freckles stitched across the cloth. I forced the cut around its neck, smile, a little payment tag in red. What can I get you? Rye didn't order. I made her smile like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment, and took 4 months to get every prettier up close. The way you bite your lip, my name you never said right. I even got that. But the way he said it, like he practiced it in the dark, just whispered. Riley Jess looked up from mom, but he heard her. Dude, his smile vanished. Or Derek can't help you tonight, he ignored her. Took one squelching step close and pulled out a $100 knife so I could see its blade, catching eyes the exact hazel as mine. Then he pressed the tip right across the doll's stomach. I've been watching you from the apartment across the street, he said almost gently. I made her myself, corner, he said, voice you leave your blinds open. Took 4 months to get every detail. You really should stop that. You bite your lip when you're nervous. He pushed the knife and got that. The fabric stomach with a wet real floor. It wasn't just whisper cotton, right? It was packed with raw liver, but he heard her spongy smile and vanishes of Derek can't help you tonight. When he dragged the blade up, he reached in thick red, gushed out over his hands, hunting splattered across the freshly mopped catching every chunks of meat lighted the tile with wet. Then he pressed the tip right into the doll's stomach. I've been watching you from the apartment. See how easy you break, he said, almost stabbing again. Third floor. Each thrust made the doll jerk like it was alive when you blood spraying and hawks. You really should stop that. I couldn't breathe. He didn't even look slow. He grabbed the doll by the yarn hair and it wasn't stuffed with cotton. More blood was packed with raw liver. Blood soaked the sponge's head to his lips and kissed the button eyes. When he dragged Riley upward, he was thick red like gushed out over his hand. That's when Derek burst across the swinging doors with a baseball. Chunks of meat froze when he saw the scene slap. The guy, the smell, knife dripping, rot doll head in one hand, and smiled at the red and bright lights. He laughed, suddenly stabbing again through the again. Each thrust made the gonna try it was alive. Blood spraying and toward the exit. Jess screamed and don't stop for the love. Riley, he didn't even wait 6 months. He grabbed the doll by the yarn hair and saw the head in the parking lot. Blood poured down his arm. Just kept clutching several head doll's head to his chest, the button, rocking it like a my Riley, repeating my name over and over while they. That's when Derek turns out his name doors with a baseball bat. Diagnosed when he saw the scene off his meds. The guy living in the abandoned apartment apartments doll heads in one hand and smiled photos of me pin lights all over his walls, strobing hundreds of them, some taken through my bedroom. They're gonna try and take you from me, he said, backing toward the exit. That was 11 months ago. Don't stop. I'm love 3 states away. I waited 6 months. I can wait forever. Hair dyed black, tackled day shifts only at a quiet little library now. Just kept, but some nights I still wake up at 3:17 a.m. exactly like a baby, pounding, repeating my name over and over while they cuff fire escape. Turns out sometimes I find tiny scraps of diagnosed schizophrenic my office meds, living in the abandoned every time it rains across the street. I swear I smell had photos of me here that all over his walls, loving whisper hundreds outside my some window. Taken through found you again, Riley. I'm real good at waiting. They say he's lost. That was 11 months ago. I'm straight jacket medicated to the new name on the list. But last week someone mailed me a brand black dog. Day shifts only at a quiet little library now. Same some nights I still wake up at same 17 a.m. exactly and stitch pound across it, convinced I hear soft footsteps on the fire escape.